God, dog. God. All right. God, big one. God. 5 pounder. This I knew. God. He ate it all the way. This is a 5 pounder.
In the world of pro bass fishing, there are all kinds of rewards. For consistency, for winning, of course. But the event you're about to see rewards big days. We're going to bring together the anglers who caught the biggest single-day limits through the 2004 season for the Busch Shootout.
Oh, yeah! Woo! 6! Yes! Yeah!
There's nothing wrong with that fish right there.
I'm gonna do an Ike and Ellie.
Yeah, baby! Look at that toad!
Woo! Ike and Ellie doesn't do it any better than that, does he? Woo!
The Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail is presented by Busch.
You gotta tell me nothing.
After being grounded by Hurricane Ivan, the Busch Shootout is finally taking flight.
Yeah! Woo!
13 anglers set to depart. But to where?
There's nothing wrong with that fish right there.
For these top performers from the Tour, the Federation, and the Open Championship, it was pack your tackle and get on the plane, without knowing where you'd be fishing.
Is this our final destination?
I have no idea. That's all I can say. Where am I? Yes! Yes!
All I got was a letter said, call this number, conference call, punch in the code, and we'll tell you more. So all they told us was a flight number. So I immediately got on there and checked to see where we're headed. So it was Richmond. So now the excitement starts.
Oh, yeah! Woo! 6! Oh, my Lord! That's mama!
Instead of planning for months in advance, getting maps, preparing just the right tackle, the first challenge of the Busch Shootout is to be ready to fish literally anywhere.
So where are we fishing?
I got a Florida bag, a Georgia bag, an Alabama bag. I forgot my Richmond bag. Can I call and get in?
Yes! Yeah!
Well, I tell you what, I was way off from what I heard rumors. I thought we was going to Atlanta.
Finally, everyone lands in Richmond.
Well, we've already thought of that in Richmond. You got the James River, but just because you land here doesn't mean you're fishing the James River, so we'll just have to see. That is a Guntersville hog right there.
Guess we're not going to Florida.
That's all right with me. I don't care. I'm ready to go anywhere you want to take me. This is just an exciting deal. The pros that are involved in this we're all just elated to be here.
But then again, you think, what would we come all the way up here to fish the river for? I'm hoping y'all have this private lake where there's these 6 to 10 pounders waiting on us.
Crucial error. Kings Mill Resort and Spa, one of the Anheuser-Busch companies. Wonder where we're going today.
But still, is it going to be the river? A lake? The bus ride to Kings Mill, and it's looking more and more like the James River, site of the Classic in the early 90s. A lot of history here, and these guys will have to write their own history tomorrow.
Pretty good, huh?
Well, I know we're somewhere, but I'm not sure where it is.
Kings Mill is also a place with a lot of big-time golf history. So it's only fitting that job one was to cast to a golf hole to set the order of takeoff.
Just like golf has closest to the pin, we're going to let you guys cast. You're going to make one practice cast and then the real cast. Wherever the lure comes to rest, closest to the pin, we have some special prizes and more incentives. I'm not going to tell you what, but it's very important that you get as close to the pin as possible.
The winner was Ben Matsubu, 10th of the 10 qualifiers from the Tour. Maybe he was sending a message that he had arrived with his game on.
What's at stake, man? You got $100,000 at stake. That's a pretty big prize.
Now, as we look at the 13 anglers who've qualified for the Busch Shootout, take a look at Kelly Jordan, right there on the top of the list, 32 pounds and 2 ounces of the 10 anglers who came in from the Citgo Bassmaster Tour and Elite 50 Series. The last man of the 10, Ben Matsubu with the 2310. We also got John Murray of Arizona coming in through the Open Championship. Thad Takis, the Federation champ, and Takahiro Omori, the Classic champ, all in this field of 13. It's a good field, a good mix of players.
I look for some tough fishing, though. We're on the James River. We're not too far from the ocean, not too far from Chesapeake Bay. Most of our anglers will turn northwest out of the boat dock, though, and head towards the Chickahominy or the Upper James River.
All right, some interesting levels of experience as well. Some of the older guys, the George Cochrans, the Denny Browers, the David Whartons, they've had experience with both Mystery Lake type situations and with fishing on the James River, but a lot of good rookies as well. The Bink Casaros, the Ben Matsubas. We'll see how they handle round one. We'll be right back.
The Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail is brought to you by Citgo. And in part by Busch. By Motor Guy. And by Triton Boats.
Welcome to the James River in Virginia as we slide by Colonial Williamsburg and the Kings Mill Resort, a historical place, and we're making a lot of history here. The first ever Busch Shootout. The top 13 anglers, the owners of the top 13 single-day catches from the 2004 season, here to shoot it out on the James River, which can be very challenging.
James is a tough place to fish, and it's going to be really tough with the half days. But the guys that catch them, you say, you know, the 5, you still make that cut. So it's like any other tournament. You catch them, you'll make it. It's not going to be a slugfest, that's for sure.
I'm going to try some main river stuff. I'm going to try the mouths of some stuff. It's going to be a real quick free fish, pretty much.
I'm going to go up to Chickahominy. Yeah, Murray told me that's where they used to catch all the big bags. I'm just going to start at the first couple of creeks. I kind of got an idea of which ones have the channel runs near the closest to the mouths of those creeks.
12 inches? 12 inches?
Here's the way the fishing is going to go for our 13 qualifiers in the Busch Shootout. Basically, 3 rounds of fishing. 2 morning rounds of fishing for the full field of 13. From the combined weight from those 2, you qualify for the final 6. The final 6 fish that 3rd round, and the winner, of course, wins the $100,000 first prize.
And of course, anglers coming from all over the country, and Texas led the way with 4 spots, 2 from out west, Bink DeSaro and John Murray, and of course, all of them are gathering here on the James River.
So much history on the James River. Of course, the biggest tributary as you start up the Chesapeake Bay. The first load of settlers, one of the first loads anyway, from the New World came over here, saw the James, went on up it, and founded the first settlement to really make a go of it, Jamestown.
Of course, those guys are not in the shootout.
None of them fish in the shootout, strangely enough.
Hey, Bink DeSaro was our only angler to make a left-hand turn out of Kings Mill. Everybody else went west, and if you go maybe 10 or 12 miles, you get up to the Chickahominy River. A lot of anglers up there. You know what? That's kind of familiar-looking water if you've never been in the on the James before. So that's a good direction to go. Go a few more miles, well, actually 25 more miles, you get to the Upper James. If you go from Kings Mill to the Upper James, you might be talking about an hour run, and that's really important when you've only got 4 hours to fish.
Pretty much out there on the edge. Let's get out on the James River right now and pick up Thad Takis, who is really looking to win this tournament to springboard his way into a bass fishing career.
This to me a start. If I can win this tournament, I could start my professional fishing career, which I've been dreaming about for a number of years. So if I can't, it's just been, you know, it'll be fun being here, a new experience. James River is something I've read about and heard about, and here I am fishing it. So it's pretty neat one way or the other. All right, here we go. 5.5 hours of luxurious fishing here.
Thad Takis of Iowa qualified for the Busch Shootout through the Federation, and an astonishing day of fishing on tough Keystone Lake in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah! Woo! 6. Oh, my Lord, that's mama! Oh. Whew. Look at that fish. Oh, my God. This could be $2,000 right here.
This is Thad Takes. Come on. You're going, baby.
All right.
With 27 7 pounds of bass from Keystone Lake in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You are the Federation champion. He wins it all.
Thad Take is one of 3 out of our 13 who have never been to the James River before. So as he starts his fishing on this day, he heads up the James to the Chickahominy and upstream to Nettles Creek.
Well, he's never been to this system before, and he's never fished on tidal water. You know, the guys are fishing on an incoming tide. During the time that they're out there, the water will probably raise about a foot, and Thad is not used to this. And man, he really needs to have a great day.
This could help me be able to afford to fish pro. And I'm looking forward to that if I get the opportunity.
Thad's technique for most of the day is fishing a jig or a spinnerbait. Of course, a spinnerbait is his thing. Boy, he fishes it a lot. Matter of fact, that's the exact lure that he caught that big fish on during the Federation.
Yeah. Come on now, baby. Get in the boat. Yo, sweet. Woo! Busch Shootout, fish number 1 is a humpback dog. Look at that fish. Look at this hump on him. That's got to weigh something, doesn't it? Well, I'm on fish. I guess I won't leave.
Thad Take is a good fish, feeling good. You know, he told Trip Weldon earlier when he arrived here at the James River, he thought he was at a little bit of a disadvantage fishing against these guys who have fished numerous tournaments before here on the James River. So he's broken the ice, and maybe he can put the doubts he had about the James out of his mind.
I was just getting ready to turn around. I'll go just a little bit further.
Thad Take is 1 fish, 3.5 pounds. Now anybody can zero on this day or this half day here on the James River, so he's happy to be off to a good start.
John Murray would love to have that fish. It seems like just yesterday that he caught that 21-pound string on Toledo Bend that qualified him for this event. John, you have done it, man.
Got the big bite. Let me wrestle him in the boat here, Derek. There's nothing wrong with that fish right there.
A magic weekend on Toledo Bend for John Murray. He would rack up 63 pounds and 9 ounces to win the Open Championship as well. And who did he beat to win that Open Championship? A bunch of guys you never heard of before. Let's check out the 5 guys behind him. That would be your Gary Klein, Greg Hackney, Jack Wade, Stacy King, and Rick Clunn. And he didn't just beat him. He wiped them out. He lapped the field, beat them by 10+ pounds.
I've never heard of those guys before.
Yeah, right.
Who are those guys? Hey, John is fishing a lake. Oh, no. Hey, the guys are having a little bit of barnacle problems. I don't know if that's exactly what happened right there, but that was too bad. He's fishing in a little lake off of the James River, west of the 295 bridge, a place called the Barge Pit. And he's throwing a little creature bait, a little brush hog, actually, on a Texas rig.
You know who his roommate used to be?
His roommate? No, I don't know.
Byron Velvick.
Oh, yeah.
The Bachelor from the TV series. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
those
you're
guys.
into that, aren't you, Tom?
Yeah, those guys used to room together. A couple of big-time Western anglers, and John Murray. What a guy. Well, coming up, we're going to take a look back at one of the big qualifying tournaments for this Busch Shootout, the Eufaula tournament, a shootout between David and Goliath. Both of them qualified for the Busch Shootout, but only one of them would win.
Yeah! Danny Brower! Jake Man!
You're looking at the Kings Mill Resort on the James River. You've probably seen the Kings Mill on TV. Some famous golf tournaments here through the years. And, of course, the James River, famous for bass fishing. 3 Bassmaster Classics have been held here in 88, 89, and 90. And now the very first Busch Shootout. Tommy Sanders here with Jerry McInnes. And now we're following Ben Matsubu fishing 3 miles up the Chickahominy River.
And Ben is, well, throughout the event, we'll fish primarily with a jig and a little crankbait. He's using a Bagley square bill. Doesn't go but a couple feet deep possibly. It covers a lot of ground, and then he likes to drop that jig around those cypress trees there or around any kind of cover. And Tommy, with a limited amount of time to fish, they use baits that cover lots of ground.
You know, if this was Mississippi, man, you could almost call a bass in between these cypress trees like this one right here. You could almost guarantee you get a bite.
Well, that first fish was taken on that shallow running crankbait, but now Ben is flipping that little jig around those cypress trees. It's probably about 2 feet deep there.
Just like that. I tell you what, this could be fun. I like to do these cypress trees. That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, back home, it's the same way. You can almost guarantee it.
Back home for Ben Matsubu, of course, Toledo Bend in Louisiana. So, John Murray, the veteran, and two of our first-timers, Ben Matsubu and this man, Thad Takis, all on the board. Nice one, 3.5-pounder from Takis right here.
Humpback dog.
Let's go back now and take a closer look at this competitor. Bink DeSaro, another one of our first-timers, the man from Boise, Idaho. How did he qualify for the Busch Shootout? Let's go further back in time. Lake Eufaula on the 2004 Tour Series, and Bink DeSaro's first real taste of success.
Maybe the best tournament of the year, Tommy. Boy, that was a lot of fun. And Bink, who had had a really tough 3 or 4 tournaments, was out there living on his credit card to become a professional bass fisherman, something that I totally disagree with anybody trying. But boy, he hit the jackpot on Lake Eufaula.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah! I'm gonna do an Ike and Ellie. Yeah, baby! Look at that toad. Woo! Ike and Ellie doesn't do it any better than that, does he?
Well, Bink DeSaro did all he could. But despite a terrific day of fishing, he could not overcome this man. The master, Denny Brower, he loses to Denny by 2 ounces.
19 pounds and 2 ounces, Denny Brower, your champion 2004 Sitco Bassmaster Tour, Eufaula, Alabama.
Denny Brower ekes that one out over Bink DeSaro, but the important thing is they both qualify on weight for the Busch Shootout. Now the young man, another first-timer here on the James River from Boise, Idaho, hasn't even seen tidal water before.
And it's not going to make any difference if he doesn't get his map corralled.
He won't see anything.
He's got to get that under control. He has turned left out of Kings Mill, and he is just down maybe 10 minutes from the takeoff on the main river.
Come on. There's got to be some old snags out here or something. One of these little places is going to be loaded with bass.
Bink hopes one of them's going to be loaded with bass. If you'll notice now, Bink has got a fish on right here, but if you'll notice, there is a little bit of an eddy up off this point coming right towards the front end of the boat. I bet that's where that fish came from. He's throwing a little crankbait right here.
Does he even know? Oh, man. That was a good one, too. I can't believe that. I cannot believe it. Dude, I knew there was going to be some bass right there. I can't believe that. Oh my goodness gracious. Be a bass. Oh, he came off again. Oh, dang. Oh, dude, I can't believe this. Oh man, I cannot believe this. What just happened? What in the world just happened to me?
See that watercolor change, how that grass is so nice and clean? That is exactly why you guys ought to be sitting right here.
Federation champion Thad Takis already has the best fish of the day, a 3.5-pounder.
Yes, and he was. Thank you, little booger. Thank you. Let's look at you. You're 16, 15 and a half. Hey. 2.
Look at our Federation champ go 2 fish, 5 pounds, 5 ounces for Thad Takis. Remember, here on the James River today, you're doing good if you're off the schneid, if you're off of 0. Back over to Ben Matsubu. Again, these guys we're watching here have never been to the James before, these last 3 anglers we saw.
Golly! Gosh darn it. Man, I just had a feeling there'd be a bass on that freaking darn thing. Jeez, what a bite. Golly. Oh, gosh.
Well, one of our competitors, Thad Takis of Iowa, says he's never even fished on one of these before. A cypress tree, but so far they've been the key to Ben Matsubu's success. When we come back, we'll learn how he's really working them to get those fish in the boat.
Look at that. That's just an ideal spot for a bass, isn't it? Oh, my God.
Kings Mill Resort near Williamsburg, Virginia, on the James River in the first ever Busch Shootout. We have our full field of 13 anglers. We're only seeing 7 of them today. They're trying to qualify through 2 fishing rounds for the final 6 who fish for the championship. Ben Matsubu qualified for this event on Lake Eufaula, just like Bink DeSaro and Denny Brower on the final day. 23 pounds, 10 ounces, and he hung on to be the last man on the bubble to make it into this event.
Well, I can't believe there's not a fish on that. Just as you call it, man, it's like I said at the Bigsby, you could almost look at it. You know, you could look at these trees and you say, oh, I'm going to catch one there. I'm going to catch one there. And normally every time you pitch in there, you'll catch one. Now, I'm not guaranteeing size, but it's amazing how they like to sit on these real, you know, there's got to be water in between the two. You know, that's the deal. There has to be water between the two.
Well, sometimes cypress trees actually grow together, so Ben wants separation between the trees, which offer good ambush positions for a bass. And this cover will attract crawfish and minnows and perch, and the trees or the knees themselves let a bass hide and jump out on this bait. The trees that Matsubu's dealing with are probably 2 or 3 feet of water, and a jig is the perfect lure to cover it thoroughly.
Look at that. That's just an ideal spot for a bass, isn't it? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Go on. Don't get off. Oh, please don't get off. Please don't get off. Golly. Please, 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 Lord, let him stay on, please. Oh, I can't even. Please let him stay on. I can't even think. Please, please, please. Oh, man. Oh, please, Lord, let him stay on. Please. Please. Yeah. Yeah. It just had to happen, man. There was, look at that. I mean, there's matted grass. There's matted grass on that tree, and I just kept plugging and plugging. And I said, I've got to get in the gut of that thing, and I threw it in there. Golly. Oh, I can't even think. Oh, man. How'd you like that, folks?
At the weigh-in, it was Thad Takis, the Federation champ who did well at the Classic. Another good showing with 6 pounds and 15 ounces.
Fish are fish everywhere you go, and you find certain patterns. For me, shallow water works best, and that's what I'm going to do until I die.
Kevin Van Dam, the legend, former Classic champ, Angler of the Year, this year's E50 champ. A great showing as well, 8 pounds, 1 ounce per second.
I've been looking forward to this tournament all year long. You know, I was just hoping to qualify, and because the format is, you know, it fits my style.
Ben Matsubu from Hemp Hill, Texas. He looked for a place that looked like home, Toledo Bend. Found some cypress trees and made it happen. 13 pounds, 9 ounces.
I only got 7 bites, but unfortunately I lost a couple of them, and the key ones I got in the boat, so I'm pretty happy.
How about that? Ben Matsubu wearing these guys out of 13.9. He doesn't really have to fish round 2. He's good to go for the final.
And a 0 for Denny and Talk. That surprises me a little bit, but Bink, he should have got on the scoreboard.
He had his chances, didn't take advantage of them. A 0 for Kelly Jordan as well. Lots of surprises. We got a good surprise for you right now. I want you to meet The brand new boss of Bass, Don Rux, is here, the new general manager of the Bass Angler Sportsman Society. Been looking forward to you coming in here, Don, and I know the members, the tournament fishing fans, also looking forward to meeting you, although a lot of tournament anglers through various series and trails through the years have met you out on the lake because you're a serious tournament fisherman.
That's right, Tommy. I've been in tournament bass fishing for nearly 30 years, and I've done it, I still do it. And I love it, and I still love to feel those fish on the end of that line and whack a spinnerbait or suck that jig to the back of its throat. So you bet I know about it.
Did you know that?
You can look him up on the internet. Really, you can, and find his results in events.
Now, let's not talk about my results here a little bit.
No,
I said I was a fisherman. I don't know how good a catcher I was.
He's the real thing.
All right, that's great. Well, as you look forward to the year facing you now and all your goals, all the assignments you have, what is the main thing in the mind of the average BASS member that you are going to address, and what are you going to do to help that person out?
It's pretty simple, Tommy. There's two things that our members want. They want to know how to catch more fish, and they want to get the most value they can for their membership. And we're going to do the best we can to provide both to the best of our ability.
All right, that is great. Stick around. We'll talk with Don some more. Right now, we'll take a break. We'll be right back with more of the Busch Shootout, round 2 on the way.
God, dog. Big one.
Your 2004 Citgo Bassmaster Classic champ, Takahiro Omori.
The Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail is brought to you by Citgo. And in part by Busch. By Motor Guy. And by Triton Boats.
We are back in the James River in Virginia. It's the Busch Shootout. We have started round number 2. 13 anglers still in this thing, looking to make the cut to 6 who will fish in the finals. Tommy Sanders here with Don Rux, the general manager of Bass, and Jerry McKinnison. Let's take a look at Takahiro Omori. Surprisingly, our classic champ zeroed on day number 1, and Ben Matsubu, the first day leader, actually gave him this fishing spot in hopes that Takahiro might make a little better showing this time. But you talk about a good showing. How about the most exciting 3 minutes in bass fishing through the whole season, the 2004 last 4 minutes, final day of the Bassmaster Classic. Don Rux, I know you remember this run that Takahiro made.
Oh, yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, this is a dream for every fisherman. And I've actually done some things like this in the past where just for no uncertain reason, you just pull up and it's just your time and you just whack them. And that's what he did.
It's amazing how many times, you wouldn't think statistically the guys would win tournaments in the last 5 minutes, but it happens again and again and again. Why is that?
I just think that, you know, they just happen to pull up, they use their thinking, and they do something that's probably the same as they've done all day, but this time there's just a school of fish there.
We couldn't have a much more popular classic winner, could we, than Takahiro Omori?
No, he crosses a lot of boundaries, and he's just a super guy, and we're just really proud to have him as a champion.
Takahiro, of course, fighting the crowds. The first 2 days, there was a lot of boat traffic there on Lake Wiley in South Carolina, but the last day, Takahiro was telling us they let him alone, and he thinks that was one of the keys to his victory. It certainly did affect the fishing for a lot of these anglers on these final 2 days of the Classic.
Okay, this is a 5-pounder. All right, one more. I know they have fish here. I knew it. Ah, another one. This is the fish I needed. Yes! Yeah! 5. Oh, man, 5 minutes to go.
I've been waiting this 18 years.
Been waiting for 18 years.
Since I was 15.
13 pounds, 8 ounces, your 2004 Citgo Bassmaster Classic champ, Takahiro Omori.
Well, back to Takahiro Omori on the James River, fishing the spot that Ben Matsubu fished in round 1 of this tournament. Ben, of course, caught 13 pounds and 9 ounces, so he's more than happy to let Takahiro take over this place and see if Takahiro could improve on that 0 from day number 1. And look at that lure he's using right there, Don. Does that look familiar to you?
Oh, yeah, back into the square bill is a dandy. And obviously, word travels fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben used that to catch his fish. Takahiro using it. And what better lure to give you confidence? The one you win the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah, especially with a water fish like he caught.
Oh, unbelievable. Takahiro Omori, a great ambassador for the sport of bass fishing, but just can't seem to get it going here on the James River. Now to Stacy King, sitting on the bubble in 6th place with 4 pounds and 4 ounces. Of course, Stacy King qualified earlier this year on Lake Guntersville with a catch of 28 pounds and 2 ounces.
I need you to go easy. Easy, I need you, Bear. Oh, yeah. How about that? That'll help me.
Stacy King! That's going to be close. 21 pounds and 6 ounces!
Having a day like that and not winning the tournament, that was just an indication of how good the fishing was at Lake Guntersville. Stacy King now fishing on the James River, some boat docks, and needing a few pounds to get off that bubble.
Get in here. Yes, sir, buddy. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. That's what that other one felt like that moved off with it there a while ago. Look at that pretty baby. That fish by itself might be enough to get me in the cut, I hope, that I'm planning on catching another one or two.
Stacy King from Reed Spring, Missouri, a long, well-known Table Rock Lake angler. And I know, Don Rux, you fished against him in tournaments before.
Oh, a few years ago, I sure did. And I can tell you one thing, that boy knows how to catch fish. He's beat my socks off a number of times.
Very versatile fisherman.
Yes, he is.
Stacy King would go on to catch 7 pounds and 5 ounces on this day in round 2, trying to stay ahead of guys like Brower, like Kelly Jordan, George Cochran, and the others. Now, Kevin Van Dam, who had a good first round, landing in 2nd place behind Ben Matsubu, but a ways back at 8 pounds and 1 ounce. Kevin Van Dam, well, he qualified for the Busch Shootout at Lake Guntersville as well with a 26-pound, 3-ounce catch.
I might go Ike on you on this one. That is a Guntersville hog right there.
Kevin Van Dam! 23 pounds and 2 ounces!
Kevin Van Dam, the phenom from Kalamazoo, Michigan, really got to work in the 2nd round of this Busch Shootout. He likes the bridges. That's how he won the E50 championship. Finds one in the James River and does very, very well. Makes the finals. What a day for Kevin Van Dam. And that's not what these other guys want to hear, that Kevin Van Dam's in the finals, right?
Oh, not at all. He's a machine, and they know it.
Yeah, and of course we're fishing short days, basically half-day chunks, and for fast fishermen like Kevin Van Dam, well, he's got to have an advantage here.
Here's your new leader, Kevin Van Dam. Let's hear it for him.
Now we're headed to Wareham's Pond. Weights of 0. We're going to have about a 4.5 hour shootout, and we have a neat little twist for our rotation up here. Well, we have it divided into 3 sections. 2 anglers per section. When we get up there, they will draw, and we have hole 1, hole 2, hole 3. We're going to fish in a allotted amount of time, and then at the end of that, we're going to have a little happy hour. Go where they want to.
Well, our final field is set for the last round. Kevin Van Dam leading the way, 18 pounds and 3 ounces. Ben Matsubu in 2nd place after 2 rounds of fishing, followed by Thad Takis, David Wharton, John Murray, and Stacy King hangs on for the last spot, but it doesn't matter. We're zeroing it for the final round.
And I got one quick question for Don.
Yeah.
You made the Busch Shootout. You're going to a mystery lake. What are 4 bass lures you would have in your tackle box?
Well, considering the season and probably the water depth they're going to fish, I'd have to have my favorite spinnerbait. I'd have to have a jig. I'd certainly have to have a shallow crankbait. And last but not least, I'd probably take a stick, dead stick with me.
All right, Don
Good
Rux.
choice.
That's a good choice.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being with us today. You probably won't have time to qualify for the Busch Shootout coming up next year, Don. I know you're going to be a busy guy, but thanks for being with us today. The new general manager of the Bass Angler Sportsman Society, Don Rux. We will be right back with the last round of the Busch Shootout.
The Mystery Lake concept hasn't been used in a Citgo Bassmaster event for more than 28 years, but the last one has an unquestionable relationship with the James River. We'll tell you more when we return. The last Citgo Bassmaster event to feature a Mystery Lake was the 1976 Bassmasters Classic on Lake Guntersville. The winner of that event was Rick Clunn, who won his first of 4 Classic championships. How does that relate to the James River? Well, in 1990, Clunn won the last of his 4 classics on the James River, overcoming a 10-pound deficit on the final day to edge Tommy Biffle.
Welcome back to the first ever Busch Shootout. The top 13 anglers are qualifiers. The top 13 single-day limit producers from the 2004 Bassmaster season. We've completed 2 rounds of fishing, and now, according to our tournament director, Trip Weldon, we're leaving the James River. We're going across the road here on the Kings Mill property, fishing a brand new spot called Weirham's Pond.
Don't have a clue whether there's a fish in it or not.
We're going to find out.
We're going to section it off into 3 different holes, so everyone will have an equal shot at each hole. The one thing I want to point out is it is full of cover. The residents along the bank have cut so many big trees that have fallen over into the water, and I'm not kidding you, there is plenty of room for a bass to hide, but like I say, we don't know if there's any in there or not.
We're about to turn loose 6 great fishermen, so we should find out. Tournament director Trip Weldon just about to turn this group loose. A few fine points on this final round first.
Here's how the rotation works. Hole 1 rotates to 2, 2 to 3. If you're starting in 3, you go to hole 1 and then back to 2. Go in numerical order.
Looks to me like it's got to have some depth out in it because this is a pretty deep old creek ditch, you know, or valley or canyon, whatever you want to call it, goes up through here. So I'm watching my depth finder as we idle out. We've already come out to 9 feet, so there's probably a little structure out here offshore. Who knows, you know, I don't know what, lots of laydowns on the bank to fish, and it looks to me like it may have a lot of options. I don't know whether any fish in here or not, but we're going to find out.
Fishing an hour and 15 minutes per section, 2 boats per section, and then we'll have happy hour. Remember, weights are zeroed.
I can't wait to make a cast here. I have no idea what lives in here. I don't know if they're 2-pounders or 10-pounders, but it looks good.
Now all bets are off. We're in a place none of us have ever seen. Get 6 of the dang best fishermen there is, so we're gonna let her rip.
This is what we wanted. We wanted, you know, six of us fishing on one course for the afternoon, trying to catch the biggest 5 fish. So I can't wait.
Rub the old lucky cap.
Good luck, gentlemen.
They blow the horn and everyone gets their lures in the water. There's no telling at this point how this little place is going to turn out.
And I'm guessing, Tommy, that you would want to start dropping some kind of plastic or a jig around the laydowns, and there's plenty of them, or else throw a crankbait and throw a crankbait in pretty shallow water. Try to cover a lot of water.
Whoa. Come here, baby. That's the way to start. Come here. That's the way to start. I like this lake. Oh, man. Might need some bigger baits. There's a little big fish in here. Oh, my gosh. What was that, a minute and a half? Took me to catch a bite, get a bite. That's fun.
You know, I seen a ball of shad on this log, though. And one just flipped right there, right next to me, too, so. Oh, come on, golly.
Well, a pleasant surprise for John Murray, the miss for Kevin Van Dam, but you'd think this whole tournament, the whole format, tailor-made for Van Dam as fast as he can get his fishing done.
You know what, though? The hole sizes are such where you probably need to fish real carefully and not very fast, or you'll actually run out of water. So Kevin's probably slowed down a little bit. John, on the other hand here, has really picked it up, and at the beginning I threw out there a couple options of
looks big to me.
of ways to fish, techniques to fish, and both Kevin and John are throwing plastics with Texas rigs into the brush pile. Boy, man, you can see the brush everywhere. There should be a fish everywhere.
Again, these holes are small, probably about 300 yards long on an average and 150 yards wide.
helps.
And that is going to wrap up round 1 of our 4 short rounds here on Wirham's Pond. John Murray, 2 fish for 8 pounds, easily your leader so far. Kevin Van Dam, only 1 keeper there, 3.5 pounds. And for all these 6 anglers, the fishing has been much, much tougher than anticipated, especially when you get a look at this fabulous looking place.
They might be schooled up under these. We're on the leaf pattern here. Just go find you some floating leaves and punch a jig through it.
Ben Matsubu, who led after the first round of fishing here, qualified for the final 6 in second place. Now he's struggling.
Yeah. Don't go all zip-toed. It's a pretty nice little fish. I need about 5 more of those, though. Look how white they are. The water's so cold.
There's a fish on it. Sweet.
Thad Takis, if he could just get the win here, get the $100,000, might put him with enough career money to make it onto the Citgo Bassmaster Tour. That would launch him into a career as a full-time angler. David Wharton here, Stacy King, both of these guys striking out and losing hope for a first-ever Busch Shootout championship.
There he is. Oh, I missed him. I had a little strike, and when I set the hook, I pulled it into a limb.
Slow, slow, slow.
Time running out. Thad Takis takes a last-minute stab at John Murray.
Oh, yeah, there's that 6-pounder. Holy buckets. Yo! Yeah, I don't know if he's the big one, but that'll help me out with John's concern.
Well, as tough, as super tough as the fishing has been here on Wirham's Pond, that fish should help. But after John Murray's 5-pound start, with Thad Takis was behind it from the beginning, and this would leave him really in a bad position for what he needed to do, get the win and get a shot for getting on the Citgo Bassmaster Tour next year.
Well, I think this is one tough little lake. I guess the best part is I never missed any fish today. I had 5 bites and got 5 fish. 2 of them didn't keep. So anytime you go out and fish all day and you don't lose any fish, you got to be happy. So just let it go where it may.
I can't tell you how many times that I've had myself in position to win on the final day of an event and just can't get it done. It just ticks me off to no end. I hate it. You know, the thing that I do know, though, is the more times you put yourself in position, the more times you're going to win.
It's pretty, nice thing is everybody's on the same playing field in this right here. And that's to me, what's most important. The fact that I didn't catch the most fish, probably, and the most pounds, is just the way it goes.
Well, stay with us. When we come back, we'll be here at Kings Mill to crown the champion of the first ever Busch Shootout. Don't go away.
The Citgo Bassmaster Tournament Trail is brought to you by Citgo. And in part by Busch Light. By Mercury. And by Pure Lady.
All of the anglers, all but one anyway, would have agreed that this final fishing round ended too soon. For Stacy King and David Wharton, no keepers. Ben Matsubu, who went from the last qualifier to the first day leader, a single fish from Wirham's Pond, 1 pound, 14 ounces. Kevin Van Dam, fired up and ready to go when the finals began, had a terrible day by his own admission. The execution wasn't there. 1 good fish, 3 pounds, 8 ounces, only enough for 3rd place. Did anyone have more riding on this tournament than Thad Takis? Again, the $100,000 would likely have qualified him for the tour and turned his passion into a profession. 2 fish, though, and only 4 pounds, 10 ounces. 2nd place, no big money. But you have to think that this young man, with his talent, will find more opportunities.
For the angler from Arizona, his second big win of the season and a place in the record books, the winner of the first Busch Shootout.
I don't know, that was the longest 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was, that I've ever spent, because every time I turn around with Thad to catch one, we were in the same holes, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna let this fall apart. So it just turned out to be one of those days, you know, all of us that fish know that once your time to win, it's your time to win. You know, any of the 13 of us could have won this thing, depending on the week. So I guess about a year ago was my week, and I'll take this one.
You know, John Murray has won so many tournaments out in the western part of the country. Kind of been a secret to the rest of the country, but he keeps doing stuff like this. He won't be a secret very long.
And I remember his first qualifying fish caught while we're interviewing him there on Toledo Bend. He catches a big fish. He wins that tournament. He's the first guy in. And then I still think it's amazing that he would catch that big fish on the second time he dropped his bait in the water on the holes.
All in all, just a terrific event. When the word gets around from these 13 guys to the rest of the competitors in the Bassmasters, I think efforts to qualify for the Busch Shootout are going to be twice as ardent as they were right now.
John Rucks, I think he's going to take a shot at it.
Got no time. We appreciate him being with us. You as well. We'll see you when we start the 2005 season with the Open Championship in January. Till then, take care.